Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second Wicked Charities webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about the three prompts, as we'll call them, and how you use them to get the best responses you can out of ChatGPT or any sort of AI. There's a lot of new ones that are coming out, especially in the last 2 weeks, that have gotten really good. And this applies to all of them. This is not specifically for ChatGPT. This is just how you interact with AI to get exactly what you want. Now, the three prompts that you need to tell ChatGPT or other ones like Gemini or Claude is the first one is what type of expert you want it to be. This is something like a job description. It informs the model how to respond, what knowledge to pull from, what's relevant. The second one is what style you want it to write in. This gives tone and kind of informs your uh, AI what audience you're trying to appeal to. And the third one, the third prompt is what data do you need? This is extremely useful for things like if you need a document, creating slides. That's all very useful, and we'll talk about these individually and then how they combine together. Now, the first prompt, what type of expert? The purpose of this prompt is to set the context. So you'll tell ChatGPT exactly what kind of expertise you need it to have. This is how you get the most relevant advice. For example, you're a nonprofit marketing expert skilled in donor engagement and fundraising campaign strategy. This is a good prompt because it says you are a nonprofit marketing expert. This is what I'm talking about when I say job description. You kind of give it a job or a role to fill, and then it'll fill that and it'll use knowledge specifically for that role in its response. Now, why this matters, by defining ChatGPT's expert role, you can help it surface knowledge, tips, and best practices most useful for nonprofits. Now, the second prompt, what style to write in, this helps define the tone and audience. Nonprofits often communicate with donors, volunteers, and community stakeholders. Specify the level of formality or simplicity needed. An example of this is write in a warm, encouraging tone that is easy for community members to understand while still sounding professional. Now, the tone will come from warm, encouraging tone, and the audience is community members. These are the most important parts for this prompt, tone and audience. And this matters because setting the style ensures that ChatGPT's responses resonate with that audience. So it kind of knows the audience and can best respond to that, whether that's general newsletter, a grant application, or a social media campaign. The more information you give it, the more informed it will be in its response. Out for the third prompt, what data do you need? And this is where it helps to be specific about your output. State the exact form, length, or format that you need. You can ask for bullet points, summary, checklist, or even a full report. If you need slides, you can do that as well. Really, anything you can imagine, as long as you're specific, it'll fill it out. An example of this is provide a concise 200-word social media caption to promote our upcoming charity run event, highlighting the event date, location, and registration link. Important things to note with this example, concise 200-word, that's very specific. As long as you're specific, that's everything you need to get the specific data. Highlighting the event date, location, and registration link, this is clearly what they want to focus on. Again, the more you can inform ChatGPT, the better the response will be. And why this matters is by clarifying what you want, whether it's an infographic outline, draft, or post, you'll get a polished product ready for direct use. The less specific you are, the more broad and general it will be. And that can be helpful for some uh, use cases, like teaching can be useful for that, but it's always better to be specific about what you want, why you want it. Now, to summarize, these are three prompts: what expert, what style to write in, and what data you need. Now, those are all good prompts to have on their own, but the real skill comes in combining them together. So for example, there'll be, let's do a little example. You are a nonprofit fundraising expert. This is the third prompt. Write in concise, professional tone suitable for community. Let's just do this. So you don't have to hear me typing. All right, let's break this down. You are a nonprofit fundraising expert. This is the first prompt. This is the role or the job of the ChatGPT. And this second part is the second prompt, concise, professional tone, suitable for community foundation grant application. Again, this is your audience. This is the tone. Then provide a 250-word summary showcasing our project's impact, budget needs, and timeline. This is the output. And in combining these three into one prompt, you'll get a much better response out of ChatGPT than just any one part. So the sum of each of them is greater than the parts themselves. And that's it. Just a very quick one, but this is very important in using ChatGPT. I use this all the time. The three prompts are always useful, and they apply to any chat model, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. There's a lot of new ones coming out, but these are very, very good and important steps to follow to get what you need. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for showing out. Are there any questions?
Yeah, so I had a question that was submitted that said, can ChatGPT be prompted to fact check or validate information before it's published?
You can ask for that, but this goes back to the first webinar. It's always important to have a human moderator to check over. It is getting better every day. This is the exponential growth period of AI, but as it stands right now, it still makes mistakes. There are these things called hallucinations where it'll think something is true, but it's not. So for things like that, for fact checking and accuracy, you want to have a human moderator go over and verify. Very important final step. That was a great question.
So are you not wanting to like put too much information in the prompt because it might get too specific in a way that you don't want?
No, you do want to be specific, but if you put in too much, it can raise up the cost of the tokens. But for the most part, you want to be very specific,
Okay.
especially to what you want. Obviously, for like the content itself, it'll fill that in. And so that's something um, you would want the AI to do that.
So when
So
I come back to ChatGPT, will it remember all the information I already told it about how I want it to write, tone, and the data, or will I have to re-put that in each time for the new prompt?
I do this for every prompt.
Okay.
Again, models are getting better. They just ChatGPT just I don't know if I could show it off, but they actually did include a thing where it will remember past conversations.
Oh,
It'll kind of base on that. So theoretically, if you do this a lot, you won't have to, and then it'll fill the gaps. But I would still stick with the three prompts. They're
okay.
by far the most useful way to get exactly what you want out of ChatGPT and any other chatbot.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. So thank you for the second webinar with Wicked Charities. We'll have another one for you sometime in the first month or so of 2025. Thanks for watching.